Good day, proxies. Welcome back to another topic of conversation. And today's topic of conversation, we're going to talk about Zenless Zone Zero's story and pretty much my opinion surrounding the current story setting from pretty much everything that I got from 1.0 all the way now to 2.3 and my general thoughts around it. Pretty much I feel like yapping right now. I don't feel like live streaming, but I do feel like yapping, and I want to talk about this. So I figured we'll just go around, beat some things up, and yeah, just have a good old little conversation. So if you don't mind, let's go through our video sponsor for today's video, and yeah, dive right in. You're looking to snag that next S rank agent on your account, but yet you're out of polychromes and you're about to blow some cash on the in-store shop for some monochromes? Hold up before you top up. If you're playing Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, or any gacha game that empties your wallet, LDSHOP's got your back. With LDSHOP, not only you're just topping up, but you're saving money. 27% compared to the in-game store prices. That means more rolls, more chances for your dream agent, and way less pain on your bank account. And the best part? It's fast, it's safe, it's secure. No sketchy logins, no endless waiting. Just pick your game, choose your amount, pay, and boom. Your credits to the account before your pity counter even starts sweating. And here's the kicker for all my viewers out there. You'll save even more with the link down in the description below. So whether you're pulling for Orphe, Lucia, or one of those agents that, RNG keeps teasing you with, don't let the in-game store rob you blind. Top smarter. Save yourself right now by using LD Shop down in the link below. Alrighty, so diving into the story of Zenless Zone Zero and my thoughts surrounding it. Just to give my credentials to anyone who does not know, I'm a person who has played Zenless Zone Zero since 1.7. Now, thankfully, with Zenless Zone Zero's story, you're able to replay it and go through things that you may have missed. And that's what I did. When it came to me first playing Zenless Zone Zero, I took pretty much the month before 2.0 came out, went through all of 1.0 to 1.7 story, and relatively came up with the opinions that I'm going to have right here from that, and then dived into 2.0. And I will say that when it comes to Zenless Zone Zero, I do highly regard it. I actually really do like the story. Even though recently there is people that is pretty much stating that, 2.0 is ruining the story of Zenless because it brings in the mystic arts, aka magic, into the realm of Zenless, and it seems like it's not aspiring as much to the urban aesthetics that they once were enjoying. And I completely get that because, past experience wise, I was a person who really liked Weather and Waves' story. Weather and Waves from 1.0 to 1.4, there was a couple of different mid parts that I say that had some pacing issues, kind of like Zenless. Zenless has a few parts where I feel like there's a little bit too much build up here and there, but otherwise, those were patches and those were story parts that, look, say what you will, this is a live service game. I don't think that even in terms of gacha, that story should be considered absolutely straight up amazing. But the thing about when it comes to Zenless, the one thing that I love about it so much is that it's a very consistent storyline that is going on. Even with the changes that has happened in 2.0, I feel like, they haven't strayed away as much as some people do say. That's my opinion. I think that, when we look at things like the magic being added into 2.0, the mystic arts and such, that, to be completely honest with you, magic has kind of, mystic arts or whatever, kind of has already been adapted into this story. I mean, a demon-possessed sword with Miyabi, characters going into the hollow and everything else, the monsters, the the leaping of over like 40-story buildings and stuff like this. I mean, these characters are pretty much superhuman. So if we're not going to go with our superhuman strength styling of storytelling like superheroes, then at that point in time, I'm going to have to use the word magic to answer a lot of different things. But hey, regardless of anything, I will say it like this: from the devs' talk of Zenless so far recently that happened, apparently they have also acknowledged that some fans, the way that the story is per se going right now, so even they are looking at it and looking at making these changes to pretty much, abide to the fans. So hey, look, your guys' feedback out there who does not like the story, even the devs said that they're going to be looking at refocusing back on the narrative of the story and helping with the placement issues and everything else to bring back pretty much, the AI and everything else. The AI storytelling, which is pretty much well. But my thought pattern so far in Zenless, and to try to go a little bit more broader in this, as I'm a person that, in all honesty, I love my video games. I love some of the games out there with their stories. Some stories out there, I'm going to be honest, they're not the greatest stories, but I fell in love with them. You're talking to a guy who loves No More Heroes, Travis Touchdown, and everything else, because straight up it was a story that was so stupid, but it was so great at the same time. You're talking to a person who really liked The Last of Us Part 1 now story. Okay, not Part 2. We're not going to talk about Part 2. But Part 1 story was very well told. And when it even came to, like I said, Weather and Waves, I loved how the post-apocalyptic world came in. I loved the story of Jinshi, of Chang Li. I love Jian's story. I love how they pretty much adapted these characters, brought them together. And I could tell you that, same feeling wise as some people probably have about 2.0 Zenless, that I feel like, Weather and Waves when 2.0 came out, that the charm of the story that was being made kind of went away. That pretty much we're building up on these hype moments. We're not building up on the character development or relationship between myself and the characters. One of the biggest problems I have in storytelling when you're trying to tell me so basically a great story and everything else is the fact that I hate it when a game or game developers or writers are pretty much trying to do something which I feel like is forcing a character's love on me. Like, oh, welcome to a southern wedding. This is my daughter. Her name is Shorekeeper, and you must love her. I'm a person who believes that when you're going to do stories that revolves around characters, I need to be able to naturally develop that relationship with the character, whether I'm going to love them, whether I'm going to hate them. Primary example of this would be like Devil May Cry 4. When you play Devil May Cry 4, you start off as Nero. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was a person who outrageously hated the hell out of Nero for a good portion of that game. It wasn't until much later, after the halfway point of the game, to where I was the type of person that was like, where is my Nero? Where's Nero? I need Nero. Because Nero was the character that I ended up hating, but didn't in love with much later in the game. And this is something that I feel like Zenless does very well. There is characters that I look at the drip marketing. For example, Alice, Yuzuha. I was not a person who cared relatively about those characters. In fact, I even stated originally that I wasn't going to pull for Alice. I wasn't going to pull for Yuzuha. Heck, when we were talking about it and I first started, I didn't have characters like Trigger and such, to which I just like, I don't care about Trigger. She's a blind sniper. I don't care. But playing their story, playing the character, understanding their plights, understanding the connection, these are characters that ended up dare I say, built a natural love with me that I ended up pulling for. Like I said, I didn't like Alice. Oh man, I actually called Alice like the most ugliest character there was, that she had the biggest damn forehead there was, and it's like, what the hell is this character? And then playing her with basically her fears of asymmetricalness and everything else, I ended up falling in love with the character. And then this got me more involved in thinking, like, why is ZZZ's story, why is it something that I can follow so damn good that makes me actually like the story? Like, I'm actually more interested at times where when the next story chapter and the next patch comes in, I'm actually interested in playing the story. I'm waiting. I'm biting at at my tips of my fingers right here, because I'm waiting a couple of days so that way other people have a chance to go through the story, so that way they can come in the live stream and talk about it without feeling spoiled, because I want to play the story so damn bad and I want to talk about what we just experienced. And I think the answer that I have for this is because I think WoWA did something in particular with 2.0 that the reason why I don't like WoWA's story, especially in 2.0, is pretty much, again, like the hype moment buildup that happens, as well as it always feels so over dialogue that it feels like it's hard to explain this. Like, I've tried to explain this in the stream so many times, but I think the best way to explain, and taking a quote from Genozod on this one, is the flowery dialogue. It is the step back that you take, because the way that the characters talk, the way the characters act, don't always feel as natural as they should, as you would think they do. And it has this artistic, poetic design behind it that, to be honest, can be somewhat distracting to try to follow the story. That it may take me one or two times to go through the story, to talk with people about it, about things maybe I've missed, that I'm trying to get an understanding of. Whereas in ZZZ, I'm not having to do this. That ZZZ, I feel the story is very well structured. It's very well easy to understand, that it's straightforward to the point of what it's trying to showcase with its story. That's something I really enjoy. That I feel like I made this statement like this on the live stream. ZZZ is a story that when we get to certain points in the story, I can already somewhat predict what's going to happen. And to some people, I know they're going to say, well, I don't like that. I don't like, already knowing what's going to happen. But for someone like myself, if you're going to produce a story that pretty much 9 out of 10 times I'm going to be like saying, that's the person who's going to try to do this, or, oh, this is what's going to happen next, and it does come true, that just means that I was able to follow the story really well without getting confused, or without, taking back and having to ask questions like, what did I miss? And that's something that I think I really appreciate now more than ever in general game stories than I ever did before. Because when I was younger and we getting into different things, I'm starting to realize more of the greater stories that I have ever experienced in video games has been stories that has been relatively very simple to follow. That damn well do I say that the plot, the reason that, the protagonist is doing something in particular makes little to no sense, but it is easy to follow. Take primary example, like I will say, like I'm a person who loves watching movies, and one of my favorite movie series is John Wick. I mean, it's one of the most simplest movie plots there will ever be. Man's wife dies, fucking teenagers come, she gives him a beagle on her deathbed. Some teenagers come, steal his car, kill his dog, and now he's on a revenge quest to kill basically every single one that killed that beagle, because that was the last thing his wife gave him. In all honesty, if you really want to think about it, the plot kind of sucks, right? Like, the entire plot for the protagonist, like, over a dog and a car, kind of sucks, because now he's opening himself up to go back into the Assassin's Guild and all this other stuff all over again. And we got 4 movies of all him trying to get out of it after completing his task. But it's simple, it's easy to follow, it makes sense, and you know what? As dumb as it may be, it is simple. It's easy. And that's what I think about, like, when it comes to Zenless Zone Zero. Regardless if you're a person that likes the direction where the story is going, whether you're a person that does not like where the story is going, or whether you do, Zenless has straight up, I don't think, has brought a story that, in all honesty, has overcomplexed the scenario. Now, that's not to say in the future it won't do this. That's not to say. I mean, but right now, for everything that it's offering, I relatively have been actually very surprised about, just in general, that I feel like I'm watching, you know, an anime. I feel like I am watching not a convoluted, you know, deep lore. I must understand every single aspect of what's going on, you know, and if I miss one episode, I completely lose sight of the entire story. No, this feels like it's a Dragon Ball Z episode. It feels like it's a Naruto episode, you know, to where some episodes I could completely miss it, go to the next episode, and I could still understand what's going on. And that's something I appreciate. Whereas if you're playing a game like, I'll put it like this, I started playing HSR, and HSR, I don't think it's a bad story, but I'm going to put it like this. I think that for some of the stuff that I've gone through in there, it's very dialogue heavy. It's very much trying to incorporate a lore scenario around it that I just don't particularly care for, because I'm not interested in the world. You know, if I want a deep lore connection or whatever, I would play a game particularly for that. ZZZ is like my 90s old anime. Like, this is something that I've been thinking about more and more often, is that reason why I like Yu Yu Hakusho, the reason why I like Dragon Ball Z, the reason why I like so many different animes at the time was how easy structured, how simplistic it was at the end of the day, and that it was so easy to follow. And it's like ZZZ takes everything that I used to watch on Toonami back in the day, and whether it would be Cowboy Bebop, whether it be Outlaw Star, whether it be Rurouni Kenshin, whether it be Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, it's given me simple to easy follow animes, and that's what it is. It reminds me of those 90s animes. Nowadays, it seems like either the newer animes are either made with the idea of brain rot behind them, or they're made with the idea of having to be the most expansive aura farming experience of the lifetime. Like, look, I love Soul Leveling Arise, right? I love Soul Leveling Arise, but at the same point in time, man, like, how many days in the last couple of years has been nothing but aura farming? Aura. Like, I'm just saying, like, I feel in general, this is what really helps to separate Zenless. That Zenless feels like it was made with my generation in mind. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you guys would feel about that, but, you know, tell me what your thoughts are. Do you agree with my sentiments? Do you think that, like, the reason why Zenless is absolutely, well, let me play this. If you believe in what I'm saying, that you think that Zenless Zone Zero is an amazing story, that it is actually like classic anime storytelling at its finest, hey, tell me your thoughts on the reason why. If you don't think that, I implore you, go ahead and tell me what you think makes Zenless Zone Zero not so good. Because maybe I'm just, still in a honeymoon phase here and Zenless can't do nothing wrong or something, but I generally do believe that the story that surrounds this is absolutely good for the nature of being exactly what it is, which is a very straightforward, put in one direction storytelling that makes it to where I really do like it the most. So, otherwise than that, leave your comments down below. And yeah, I'll catch you probably all in the next video. So keep it classy, keep it jazzy, always keep it real. And I'll see you later. Peace.